Toni Yuly. This is my studio. This is where my playhouse. This is where I make stuff. So come on in. I've always been a very visual person. I love art, fashion, photography, design, and picture books. I get ideas anywhere or anytime, and I usually get a lot of good ideas when I'm walking. I take a walk every day, and I don't have paper when I'm walking, but I finally figured out I can turn on my smartphone and speak the idea into the phone, which is really handy. And when an idea speaks to me really strongly, I tend to give it more attention. And sometimes an idea is fully formed and develops quickly, and sometimes it's just a small snippet, and I tuck it away and bring it back out from time to time, give it more attention, and it develops over months or even years. I try not to think too hard, but actually let my mind wander around the idea and see where it goes. I give the idea some space and noodle around or play with the idea just like I would a kid. Having the words and the pictures roughly to start is good, but then I like to kind of nail the words down and use it as a structure to do the visual work from. I tend to think in very simple language. I like to get to the essence of an idea or image. And my early books are pretty conceptual, and my newer books are even more simple and even poetic. My books don't often tell a story in the conventional sense, but are conceptual and may have a central idea, and then also several other layers of things going on. I think this makes for an interesting picture book that can have a wide appeal on many different levels. Early Bird, my first book, was inspired by a vintage Japanese coaster I found in a thrift store. I think it's of a water pitcher, but it's round and it looked like a bird to me. And I couldn't get that feeling out of my mind. And it inspired me to create a very round bird that ended up being Early Bird. The two books I've been working on recently, Thank You Bees and The Whole Wide World and Me, are also based on feelings that are related to the connections that we all have with nature. I consider myself a process-oriented artist, which means that I'm not very good at getting something right the first time, or the second time, or the third time, and I throw a lot of stuff away, and I'm impatient. But somehow, by doing things over and over again, I start to notice things I like, and I keep those. And eventually I notice other things I like, sometimes out the corner of my eye, and I add those things into what I'm doing. And eventually, I know I'm going to get something I want. So it kind of takes the pressure off of me to be a process artist, oriented artist, although it's taken me a long time to make peace with that because I'm just not very good at doing things the first time. I find my mind, as I call it, is very critical. And I don't like it guiding me in the early phase of when I'm trying to make something. I was a painting major in college, and in addition to drawing and painting, I've always loved experimenting with different kinds of materials, especially collage. My first three books, Early Bird, Night Owl, and Catnap, are companion books. They're all the same size, the same font, and basically the same style. Before breaking into the picture book business, I had been designing and making greeting cards. I started that because I wanted to do something that I knew I could get out into the world on my own. I didn't need a publisher, and I had spent several years before that trying to break into the picture book business and didn't succeed. So before I started again, I was determined to do something creative that I knew I could succeed at, and it gave me a lot of confidence and success, and taught me different ways of working visually. I also at that time found an old copy of Photoshop. I'm not sure where it came from, but I decided I wanted to try to teach myself that. And after about 2 years, I still didn't know how to use it or what a layer was, but I did figure out how to use color a little bit. And so the first 3 books were hand-drawn, pencil and pen, scanned into the computer, and then I colored those in my own crude way in Photoshop. I learned a lot. And after doing these 3 books, I really wanted to do something different and get back to playing and the freedom that my greeting card one-off designs gave me. So I started to play around with paper and painting and whatever I felt like. But for some reason, I was really attracted to tissue paper. I think because of its transparent qualities and the beautiful edges that you get when you tear it, and also just the lack of control when you're ripping it up and the surprises that you get. And it's quick. So I started playing with this, and it was very crude at first, and I would add ink details for eyes or whatever I thought the image looked like once I tore it. And I started posting them on Facebook. And for about 2 years now, I've been posting a torn tissue creation every Tuesday. And it's helped keep me fresh and playful. It's helped keep my work fresh and playful, and it's fun. And it even caught the attention of my editors who love this new style. And I actually got a book offer as a direct result of those torn tissue postings. And that book is The Jelly Bean Tree, which is coming out in June, and it is all done with torn tissue, cut paper, and different collage. It was challenging and exciting, trying something new, and it led me to a more refined torn tissue and paper cut collage style for my next 2 books. And it gave me a lot of confidence to dive fully into collage, which I'm loving right now and using in my books. Sometimes you have to dance because it makes you feel happy and it gets you ready to go again. It energizes me. I really love making picture books, but it's not easy. It's a struggle, but it's a struggle that I love. I'm glad I stuck with it. I'm glad I didn't give up. So don't give up. If you really want to do this, you'll find a way, and you may just surprise yourself someday. Catnap is in the window! Yay! Catnap!